Robinson Crusoe Collectors Edition is now available retail, but is it for you? We're going to look at 7 things that I love about it and 7 things that I simply do not. You can see, is it the game for you? Alexander Selkirk, 1695. Stay with me. You know I'm getting somewhere with this, okay? Stay with me. Anyway, son of a shoemaker, ran away from home because he wanted to go on a ship for high sea adventures, and he did exactly that. However, he managed to get himself into a nice little fight with the captain of that ship and voluntarily was marooned on an uninhabited island. He stayed there for 4 years. For 4 years, that's right, until he was finally picked up, brought back to England, probably. Pretty sure. I'm not going to look at my notes. And there he told all about his adventures on this uninhabited island. Well, there was an author at that time, William Defoe, and he heard these stories. This is about 10 years later. He heard these stories, and he published them in a fictional novel inspired by this dude called Robinson Crusoe. You ever heard of it? 300 years later, or close to it, we're going to Poland. There's a man there named Ignacy Czewiczek, and he was inspired by this novel to create a board game, a fully cooperative survival adventure exploration board game called what? Robinson Crusoe and the Cursed Island, I think. And the adventures on the Cursed Island almost got it. It became a classic staple in the industry, spawned several expansions, and now a collector's edition. We're going to take a deep dive through everything Robinson Crusoe so that when we get to the collector's edition, you're going to know what it adds, what it doesn't, what edition do you need. And if you already love the game, I hope that this is an enjoyable trip down memory lane. It's been enjoyable for me. But before we talk about spending all kinds of money that you know we just don't really actually have, let's talk about saving a little money with a promotion. What Card Trader is it's basically an international hub for card buyers and sellers to come together and exchange so that they can save on shipping and find deals. I can buy from all kinds of different sellers around the world. I can have them shipped to the Card Trader Zero hub where they are checked for quality, and then whenever I'm ready, I can have all of those cards or just some of them shipped to me for one shipping fee. Also, I'm going to be sure to type in my code here, Geek Deals, my discount code for 5% off of my first order. That code is valid for you as well, so when you check out, you can use that. You get 5% off. Chapter 1, The Buildup. So we are in 2014. The original game is released. We need to know about this original game to understand the collector's edition, right? Okay. What did the original version have? Well, it was 1 to 4 players. That's right. Way back then, fully cooperative game, but it included not just solo where you can play multi-handed, but an actual solo mode where you have a companion Friday, and I think it came with the dog, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, designer, Ignacy Czewiczek, publisher, Portal Games, artist, Tomasz Bentkowski, and many others, too many for me to list here, and I hope I pronounced it right. It offered this gameplay where you are exploring and surviving in an adventure while also placing workers, collecting resources, all that kind of good stuff. So, let's go through my list here. Oh my goodness. Scenario based. Came with 6 scenarios. Each scenario is, you don't have to play one to play the other, but they do seem to ascend in difficulty, with the first one being kind of your introductory mission, right? In order to learn the game, though, of course, you had to survive that rule book, which maybe back in 2014 was fine. You read it in paragraph form. I fell asleep several times over a period of several nights. Not everybody's like that. It's great sleep stuff for me. But anyway, now apparently there is a digital rule book as well. I already learned the game, so I can't really give an objective opinion on that. All right. You get to explore on the map and flip over tiles. It's going to be different every time. That's great fun. You get to hunt creatures in order to gather furs that you can use to build stuff or to get food so you can survive yet one more day. You get to build coal shelters because, come the end of the day, animals are going to try to get in and kill you, so you may as well want to build a fence, Or, the rain's going to come and it's going to want to, kill you. Or the lightning, whatever, or the snow, the clouds want to kill you. Everything wants to kill you. So you have to build shelter. Collect a bunch of resources. Now, here's the thing. I'm looking at wood over there. Are there no rocks in this game? I swear I remember Collecting rocks. I don't think you collect rocks. What? Anyway, collect resources so you can build different items. Good fun. Let's build a mast. Why not? You're probably going to build a shovel first to bury the people that die. No, really, if anybody dies, it's game over. The game came with 4 characters, each with asymmetrical special abilities. Even though it's worker placement, you know, you place them to do an action, they have bonus actions that can help you out. You got the explorer, carpenter, soldier, cook. Other characters came later, but in this base game, that's what you got. Moving on, standard Euro type components. You had the cardboard board, you had the wooden little discs and wooden bananas, you know, wooden food. All the things were little wooden pieces, super cool. And then, of course, your dice. And a gizmillion amount of cards. More awards than I can list. Just look at BGG or look at the box. They're going to be plastered all over the place. What else we got? Following that, there were many, many expansions and promos that just kept steadily getting released. If the base game is what you want, you can still get that. I believe it's 55 euros, not sure what that is in dollars, and every other currency. Then comes 2019, and we have Mystery Tales released. Mystery Tales introduces almost like a King Kong era horror type of theme, where psychologically scary things start to happen. So you get 10 new characters, each with their own little abilities, and also a new mechanic called Sanity, to make the game even harder. So as you go insane, things get even worse, because it already was too easy. You know, you win every single game of Robinson Crusoe. At least I do. Maybe I'm playing it wrong. Who are we kidding? I have yet to survive. It included 2 new standalone missions, as well as a 6-episode, I believe, campaign mission that you play from beginning to end. It gets harder and harder and harder. I've gotten about halfway through it before getting absolutely obliterated. And some fun gameplay mechanics, you know, like you don't get to open this envelope till you get here, turn to this page till that happens. So that was pretty cool. And then just some standard additions to cards that already exist, items, things like that. Then comes 2020, and I'm gonna need my trusty list for this one. Thank you very much. Okay, so this is where the treasure chest is released. And this, remember all those promos that were released between the base game in 2014 and 2019 when the treasure, what was it? Mystery Tales came out. Yeah, so all those promos, well, those are all collected together for the treasure chest. And these are some of the things if you get that box. You get extra characters, so you get the gamer and the sailor. You get a set of crewmen, you get a hunting dog. Characters now have character trait cards. There's more mystery cards, there's more event cards, there's more discovery tokens, these little things that you discover, and they usually give you some nice little boon, nice little bonus. Yes, they added more of those. What else we got? Searching the beach cards. I don't even remember what that is. You get the volcano tile. Pretty cool for a volcano scenario. You got an epic spyglass, which really is just, it's a little silly. Maybe some people love it. I don't know. It's a one-time use. You break it, and it gives you some special ability. But you take a picture of yourself or a video, preferably of you breaking it, post it on Instagram or whatever your social media choice is, because that is the only way that we can prove that we exist. Do it. I don't want you to fade from existence because you're not posting everything on social media. Get with the times, people. Oh my goodness. All right. New beast cards, which means, you know, hunting experience and stuff like that. Hunting adventure cards. What on earth is that? I don't remember. I have them. New upgrades to your shelter. You can now have a garden. It's about time. Oh my goodness. How are they like eating? Herbs, seasoning things? I don't know. They're just eating bananas. Day and night bananas, which is going to lead to some kind of a disease. And this, you do get illnesses, actually. You do get little diseases. I'm off track. 4 additional scenarios, including one kind of cool one, tracing Dr. Livingstone, Treasure Island, Poachers, and Time Travel. That's all in, it's basically just all those promos, excluding anything that was in Mystery Tales. Okay, so by 2020, you've got enough Robinson Crusoe to last for eternity, right? There's plenty of gameplay, still basic Euro-type components, but it's nice enough. It's a Portal quality game, which I would say is medium. This is not Stonemaier, this is not Eagle Griffin. Chapter 2, the crowdfunding catastrophe. Are you ready for some drama? March 23rd, 2021. Gamefound is fairly new, and Portal Games launches their Robinson Crusoe Collectors Edition crowdfunding campaign in order to be delivered within the next year. Now, we all know so many crowdfunding things. Things happen, sometimes out of people's control, and sometimes, honestly, just poor planning. So we expect there to be delays. So we can discard some of that drama, right? It went on for a long time, y'all. But regardless, let's start at the beginning. So for the crowdfunding campaign, again, it launched March 23rd. It funded in 18 minutes. By the end, it raised 2,277,000 probably euros. I didn't double check that. Correct me if I'm wrong. So that's great, right? What did it include? I'm going to read straight from the page here. Robinson Crusoe Collectors Edition with amazing miniatures crafted by Awakened Realms. Always a good thing. A tutorial campaign. Big deal, because remember, that rulebook was a no. And a companion app to play along with you. And I believe kind of help you learn the game as well. Plus the new expansion, the Book of Adventures, with several dozen scenarios labeled by their length, by their difficulty, and by their theme to help you find the perfect one for game night. So they're trying to expand the overall accessibility of Robinson Crusoe. What did I get? I got the Veteran Sundrop All-In Pledge. So what on earth does that mean, and what does it matter? Basically, when you pledged for this game, and again, it's available retail now, but I'm talking about the Gamefound edition. We're going to talk about the differences. Stay with me. If you already owned the base game, then you could get the Veteran Pledge. It did not include the base game that you already had, and therefore you could save a little money and only get what was new, what was included in the Collector's Edition, all of the Gamefound exclusives, and then of course you could purchase add-ons for additional cost. And since it's Sundrop, that means the minis I got were already painted with the nice little Sundrop, so I didn't have boring gray minis. It did not include the Treasure Chest or Mystery Tales expansion, my pledge. Now there was a pledge, the All-In, that let you get absolutely everything. It included the base game, it included Mystery Tales, the Treasure Chest, and of course, Collector's Edition, the Gamefound exclusives, everything that came with it. And you could get that to Sundrop or regular. The version I got was somewhere around $200, and then the All-In was somewhere around 300 plus euros. I'm sorry, it's all listed in euros. I convert it to dollars in my head because I live in the United States. And I'm sorry for that. But here we are. Y'all, everything was on track. What went wrong? And what does it have to do with the current game? The pledge manager, so that means all the funding's done. So when you back a game, if you're new to this whole crowdfunding thing, it's a big thing with board games is you pledge to back the game. And you're saying, I will pay this money, right? The campaign runs for a period of time, usually 30 days, sometimes more. And then the pledge manager eventually opens. And that's where you actually go in and pay. So you pay, and the shipping costs are estimated. You pay for all of that up front. Okay, so that's what happened. So Pledge Manager closed on November 4th, 2021, about 8 months later. Now remember, when the crowdfunding campaign launched, the expectation was to receive it either in the winter of 2021 or 2022, possibly the spring, right? Well, the pledge manager didn't close until November, so people were getting kind of stressed out in the comments about what's going on. All right, there were plenty of complaints I saw about communication. Now, here's where it's interesting. To be fair, Portal Games and Ignacy himself at times was posting an update at least every month or up to 45 days. So every 30 to 45 days, from the close of the campaign all the way until its final delivery, there were updates every 30 to 45 days. However, there was this problem where Gamefound, normally they're supposed to email you when there's an update for a game. Well, that wasn't working, so people were thinking there weren't updates. I had this problem. I reached out to Portal Games. They sent me to Gamefound. I went to Gamefound. They told me how to fix it. I followed their instructions, screenshotted it. Everything was fine. It never fixed the problem. I never got an email update about this game during its whole campaign. And that was kind of stressful because you have to remember to log in and check for the updates. And you're like, if I don't log in if I forget to check this month, am I going to miss out totally? It's not going to get shipped. So it was a little stressful. That little glitch there didn't help. That was not Portal Games' fault. I don't know what was up with that with Gamefound. I haven't had that issue with any other game, just this game. But anyway, the winter and then the spring of 2022 passed, and then the summer, and then we got into 2023, and then we got into 2024. So roughly 3 years later, after the campaign started, delivery began in February 2024 in English and has continued until now. And I believe most or all of the language editions should now be out and delivered. So I hope you've received your copies. Why the delay? Well, Ignacy talks about this. Actually, he is on a podcast called Board Game Insiders. Very good podcast, and I like how honest Ignacy was in it. And honestly, it was maybe some poor planning on their part. Of course, the shipping crisis happened. However, other game publishers did manage to ship mostly on time. But also, there were quite a few extras that they added in with good intention, and I'm going to assume that they're telling you the truth. I think they had very good intention. Ignacy wanted this to be like a love letter, fantastic version to celebrate this game. So they added a lot of scenarios, which took a lot longer than they expected. And then, of course, there were add-ons. Some people got mad about the monkey. There was an additional add-on, the monkey, but it didn't come with your pledge. You had to add it on and pay for it. Okay. Personally, didn't bother me at all, but there was quite a bit of upset about some of these add-ons that kept coming, probably to keep excitement going in the campaign. But end of the day, the game delivered with what it said it would deliver, which for me meant for that all-in, I got a nice neoprene playmat that gives me room for all of my cards, everything except the player boards. That was an additional cost, not with the Collector's Edition. I got all the Gamefound exclusives, which included extra scenarios in the Book of Adventures that were Gamefound exclusives. And the shelter, of course, over here that you get to build a piece at a time. That was a Gamefound exclusive. All kinds of different pets, a volcano dice tower, and honestly more. That on top of what we already saw was part of the Collector's Edition. So now we got through all the drama. It's time for Chapter 3, a little bit of levity. You see, I was worried that they would make this a crowdfunding exclusive thing. Nobody would be able to get this Collector's Edition unless they backed it right then. And I believe that they originally said that, but maybe they were talking about the Gamefound exclusives. But anyway, the levity is the Collector's Edition is now available for retail. Maybe that was the plan all the time. Tell me in the comments. Which actually is a great time to say that I need your help. So if you're enjoying this video, if you enjoy these discussions like I do, if you like hanging out with me and learning about these games, or teaching me about the games, because let's face it, you know more than I do, please give a like so that YouTube knows to show this to other people. And if you want to see more of me, just click that subscribe button and you can have all you like. Let's be real now. This isn't about me. This is about some really great games. All right. So if you go to the Portal Games website, you can see all the retail offerings for Robinson Crusoe. And it's a nice buffet. You can get the base game, just the classic game, for 55 euros. You can get all of those add-ons and promos. You can get them individually. Or you can get the treasure chest, which I'm making this up at the moment. I believe it's around $35 to $45. You can get the Mystery Tales expansion. I believe that's right. I'm saying dollars. I know it's euros. 35 to 45. You can get the Book of Adventures expansion. Also, I believe about 35. As well as individual components that are in the Collector's Edition. So you can kind of pick whatever you want. Or they offer the Collector's Edition, which is 85 euros. And in that Collector's Edition, you get the gray minis, not the sun-dropped ones. You get the tutorial scenario, and this is the only place you can get it. It's not separate, and it's not in the base game. And of course, access to the companion app, which you can use the companion app with anything. None of the Gamefound exclusives are offered or available for purchase, which is standard. Oh, also there's a plastic insert in the collector's edition where you get the other games and it's just, an open box. Maybe with a cardboard insert that really isn't super helpful. It looks kind of cool. We'll forgive it. Let's get to the meat of the matter then. Chapter 4, Love and Hate. 7 things I love about this collector's edition and 7 things that I just don't. What I love, this book of adventures. This is a gem, and a late delivery because of this doesn't really bother me. I just wish they had planned for it up front, right? But I mean, I have the Gamefound exclusives version, which means there are some extra scenarios in here. But honestly, you're going to have plenty with just the collector's edition. So, just fantastic. You flip to it. There's your scenario. Tells you how to set up, what the extra rules are, how to continue with the game. Usually just these 2 pages. And you have so much variability from beginner scenarios to advanced scenarios, all kinds of different themes. Sci-fi, ancient, fantasy, whatever you want. I think this is one of the best things, if not the best thing, to happen to Robinson Crusoe. If you get anything, this. The other thing that I really love, or at least I love the idea, this one's complex, this one's nuanced. The shelter, all right? I love the idea of actually building the shelter instead of having a disc that moves, up a level. So I know I'm a level 2 shelter and moves up like I'm a level 2 roof. That's totally fine. But a 3D model that shows, oh, I've got this level of roof right now, or I've got this level of shelter. I love that. Now, it's also something I hate, but that's not what we're talking about right now. What I love is this idea of including a 3D, like building with Legos, shelter, so I can see my advancement. The tutorial campaign. I went through this whole tutorial campaign just to see if it works. Now, granted, I already knew how to play the game, but I haven't played it in 2 or 3 years. And from what I could tell, you will learn how to play the game just by going through this tutorial, and I believe it's 4 scenarios. And it's a continuing story. It's essentially a campaign that teaches you how to play. Now, you are warned in the tutorial that somebody should read the full rulebook first before going through this, and I agree with that. It does help. But if you want to, if you're playing solo, you can play through the tutorial and consult the rulebook as needed. But yes, if you're going to teach others and they're learning for the first time, read the rulebook, play through the tutorial together. I believe that's what it's designed for. The companion app. The companion app's super cool. Just look for it. It's the Robinson Crusoe companion app, available wherever you download your app stuff. It is free with in-app purchases, which is to be expected. This is Portal Games. Come on. But just the free version, it doesn't teach you how to play the game, but kind of like the tutorial, it guides you through. So if you already know how to play and it's been a little while, or you just don't want to think that hard, it guides you through. It guides you through setup, what scenario, what phase you're on, what to do on the next phase. Little background music, which if you have it connected like to a speaker instead of your phone speaker, I could see it being nice for atmosphere. So solidly done, up there with any good board game companion app. It's not required, but I love it. The other thing, dual layer companion boards. I call them companion. They're not companions. What are these? Character boards. Dual layer. That's right. Just the little squares at the bottom. That's all. Of course, it's 2-sided. You have the male and you have the female character, whichever one you prefer to play as. And you can put your little cube in the recessed spots so it doesn't slide around. It's a little thing, but oh my goodness, the quality of life that it adds. Absolutely amazing. It's also going to be something I hate. Don't worry, I'll tell you why. Miniatures. I love the miniatures. They're absolutely fantastic. You've got the male and the female model of each one. So, you've got your carpenter there. And of course, I have the Sundrop. I'm very happy with the Sundrop. I'd be happy with the gray too. But it's Awakened Realms. They make the best miniatures in my opinion. And they do add a nice quality of life. Before you had discs with a sticker on it, and that's sufficient. But it's nice to see your character out. A little third dimension added to your gameplay. I purchased the monkey that I just threw on the floor. I'm sorry, monkey. I like the monkey. I didn't mean to throw it. I did that for all of you that don't like the monkey. No, I love the monkey. It's cute. I like all the pets. I have all the pets. I like the dog. all the miniatures. Lovely job. And the 7th one actually is not included in the game, but it's Ignacie's passion and enthusiasm for this project, even though it was not planned out or delivered anywhere near as well as it really should have. His heart was in it. This is a love letter to fans of a game he loves, and I love him for that. Ignacy, if you ever want to come on, I would love to just pick your brain and just talk about games with you. You're too busy for that, but the invitation's there, please. Now that I've invited Ignacy, let's go to 7 things I hate about your game. Awkward. First, tutorial campaign. Wait, I loved that. No, here's what I hate. The tutorial campaign is locked behind the Collector's Edition. So you have to buy the Collector's Edition, the 85-euro version, in order to have the tutorial campaign. To me, once you've made that tutorial campaign, it needs to be included in the base game too. So if you buy the 55-euro base game, I'm not an economist. I don't know how much money you would lose by doing that, but I just don't like that something basic and essential that should be there for beginners is not available in both editions. Unless you're phasing out the basic edition. In that case, the collector's edition is the only one offered. I have no problem with it. But that's not the case. Make it available for download, print, and play. If you want to charge a fee for it that's reasonable, okay. I understand it's nice. It's got the nice spiral binding. It's a nice card stock and all that. So that may be too much to add to the base game. Just do it in a rulebook format, which I understand you're actually playing on it, so you want it to be decent quality. Find a way to include it in the core box. It's an essential part of the game now. You want more people to play it? Make it available. The other thing I hate, the shelter. Wait, I loved that. You're right, I did. But here's what I can't stand about it. One, it was a Gamefound exclusive, so this, you can't get this anywhere. That's right, it is out of the cosmos. It is gone forever. So I don't like that. To me, I would cut out, I don't know, what miniatures could you cut out, or how much would it cost to add it on? I'm not entirely sure. So maybe the cost would be too much. But the other thing that I don't love about it is I can tell it's a Gamefound exclusive because the quality, you can see I'm struggling to build it, just isn't really what it should be for this, which maybe that's why it's a Gamefound exclusive. That's why I don't like crowdfunding exclusives, because it's kind of like, we're going to make something cool, but the quality is going to be mid, right? This is not Ohio. This is mid. I'm learning all kinds of things. But here's the thing. So, I love the idea. Okay, break it into its parts. But it doesn't build, come on, muscles, as easily as it should. So what's the bottom? I can't tell. Like, I need to look at the pictures to know. Okay, I figured it out. This is the bottom. So, you know, you build shelter level 1. Yay! And then you build shelter level 2. Yay! Okay, cool. But then you got to build, like, roofs and stuff, right? But you can see there's some problems. Am I upside down? Why won't you go in the hole? It went in the hole. Cool. All right, so I built level 2, but that's what I hate, is it's a little too hard to build and take apart as you are building and taking apart throughout the entire game, right? So then, you know, I put in roof level 1. Well, that looks cool. You're going to be lucky if you ever get this far in the game, right? That's probably all you're ever going to see. That's the other downside, is it is a cool thing, but the reality of having a fully built thing is, like, not possible unless you're playing easy, story mode, make it up. And do that if you want. Okay, cool. All right, and then, you know, you add level 3. That's great. Add another roof level. Cool. But then when you get to adding more roof levels, it's a little harder for them to stay in place, right? It wants to wiggle around and fall over, and then the whole thing... Look, it just could have been designed better, and it should be available in the Collector's Edition, either for... Or if you don't want to do that, it makes it too. If you don't want to raise the price to, you know, like $95 or $100, I don't know what it would add. If you don't want to do that, then, you know, make it available separately. But making it a Kickstarter exclusive, I hate that. And because it reduced the quality and the availability for something that I think that needs to be in there, even more than the character minis, in my opinion. All right, so just summarizing to this point, okay? Tutorial campaign is in the Collector's Edition, the retail one. That's great. It's not available in any other way. Tell me if I'm wrong. The Build-A-Shelter there, Was a Gamefound exclusive. Can't get it anywhere. If you didn't get it, sorry, too bad. It's gone. The plastic inserts. They're cool, all right? It's definitely better than having nothing. They are okay. But I wish they had gone for a game trays. Although I do really... They really got close. Like, this is nice because all your resources, you just take the lid off and it's available. That's cool. So I love that they included it. I kind of hate that they didn't go just a little bit further. This is what I would expect in the core box. For the collector's edition, it should be just a little more. But again, you get the collector's edition for just 85 euros. So any of these things would raise the cost. But if you're going, that's the thing. Like, if you're going for the collector's edition, you go just a little more. And then it's collectible. And put the tutorial campaign in the core box. I'm done. All right. The dice tower, don't worry. If you get the retail collector's edition, you don't get the dice tower. This was a Gamefound exclusive. So a lot of the things I hate came in the Gamefound exclusive. But here's what's kind of annoying about it. It's fine, right? It's cool. And I do like dice towers, and I do like cardboard 3D things. I don't mind gimmicks. What bothered me is there were no instructions on how to set this thing up, right? I had to figure it out. Do you know how long that took? I think it's on camera, actually. I think you can watch it. If you watch my Robinson Crusoe Collectors Edition unboxing, and I think I had to cut out a lot of the time. It took me a while. The other thing, hey, it worked that time. Maybe I fixed it. I did fix it. Okay, so what I hated before is sometimes when I would roll it, they would get stuck underneath there. But I think taking it apart several times and putting it back together, right? But, so, cool, but, you know. Tell me how to put it together. It took years of my life building that thing. All right, this is a big old no-no. So if you buy the retail collector's edition, it does not come with dual-layered collector's board or character boards. Character boards. It doesn't. What? What? That's a Gamefound exclusive? The recessed character board? That belongs in the collector's edition. I'm sorry. I'm going to turn my volume down. I love you. I love this game. But really? Give my people dual layer character. That's the only dual layer you need. It's just the character boards. Tell me if I'm a horrible person. If this was 115 euros or say 105 euros, something like that, would it be worth it to you to have those upgrades included in the collector's edition? Is that a reasonable price? The other thing I hate, of course, had nothing to do with this, and it won't affect you, was just the updates not going to my email. It really stressed me out. I know you just have to log into Gamefound each, month or so and make sure you check it, but just that stress of having that reminder to, make sure I check this kind of thing to make sure I didn't miss anything. Did the other update get posted? Did I already read this update? I just like them having delivered to my email so that I know I've paid for it and I've got the correct ship. I moved 3 times before this thing was delivered. It was stressful. Did not like that. I hope the problem is fixed for other games. And the only other thing is the companion app. Well, here's the cool thing. The companion app comes with 3 extra, decks of scenario things. 3 extra event decks that you use specifically in the game, right? You only use that event deck with all of its special items and things like that. And it's like a pirate one, and another's got a scary thing. Look in the app. Totems, I think there's a totem one. But anyway, one of them in the companion app is free, and the other 2 are for a small charge. Less than $3.99. Maybe it's $2.99, $1.99. I think it's $3.99 for the other 2 special event decks. Now, if you got the Gamefound collectors thing, you got the actual physical decks of those, so you have everything that you need. The collector's edition, the retail version, I didn't see anything that said that it included those, right? So if you want those, you do have to pay the extra amount. Or let's say that because I did the Gamefound thing, I have those physical decks, but I don't have, I have to pay if I want to use them in the app. That just bothers me. Like, it should have come with a code or something. Like, if you have the physical cards, that you also get access in the app. That may be the case. So if that is the case, let me know, please, and I will absolutely correct it. Put it in the comments there. I don't mean to give any inaccurate information. I only know so much. I am the board gaming every dude. There's a lot of lapses in my knowledge, but boy, do I try. So I don't like that. If you have the physical deck, and you can purchase the physical deck on the Portal Games site, it should come with access in the app, in my opinion. And if they actually aren't available in the collector's retail, which again, I can't see that they are, then they really should be. Okay, that's what I love and hate. Chapter 5. Final thoughts. As it is, as the collector's edition is delivered, is it worth it for you if you already have the base game or if you are totally new? So let's start with the new. Let's say that you're new to Robinson Crusoe and you're like, should I just get the core box, the old game, or should I drop the extra 30 and get the collector's edition? In my opinion, there's no choice. You must get the collector's edition if you're new because it comes with that tutorial book. And that tutorial book makes your learning experience so much more pleasant. It is wonderful. For the tutorial book alone, get the collector's edition. As far as the rest, the minis are a nice aesthetic addition, but if the tutorial campaign were available in the core box, then I would recommend that as a starter thing. But this is how it is. If you already own the core box and you didn't back the whole Gamefound thing and you are just like, should I replace it with the collector's edition? If you love the game, absolutely, just for the aesthetics of it. The tutorial campaign, if you want to introduce it to other new players, is an essential, I would say. But if you could only get one, if you could only get the collector's edition or the Book of Adventures, as somebody who owns the base game, I would go with the Book of Adventures just because of all the cool scenarios and how much variability you get in your gameplay. Well, boy howdy, we made it to the end. I love you all. I'll see you next time.